I put a comment on, at that time I was with EXP and they used
It was Facebook Workplace.
Workplace. Yeah,
Yeah.
they used Workplace. I put a message on there that I was looking for a team, and one of Lynn's partners at that time reached out to me, and we started chatting. And then I chatted with Lynn. I interviewed a couple other teams, and I just felt like this was going to be the right fit. Of course, you don't really know until you know. But he started showing me things. The first thing I thought when I got on the team is, all right, give me some leads. And he was like, yeah, we don't do it that way. Because at this time we didn't do it that way.
No.
He's like, what I do is I teach you how to fish. You know what I mean? I teach you how to do it. And then if you want to buy leads later on, then you buy leads, but you need to learn the right way to do it. So that's the way we did it. And man, it worked really well for a while. When I started finding success, like I said, I thought about going on my own. And then I started thinking of all the things that had to be done behind the scene. And that's when I decided I didn't want to do that. I'd rather find success with somebody. So eventually I bought into Loyalty Home Group, and now we co-own it together. So.
Got to give credit where credit is due. So Keller Williams had this saying, talent pushes talent. I'm sure you've heard that one before. And when I met Jason, I mean, I admittedly was running off of just being, look, I'm not spending $1 if I don't have to, right? So that was a big piece of why we didn't buy leads. I was like, look, I can hand these leads out, and if the agent doesn't know how to convert or create their own leads, they're just going to take the leads that I pay for, and they're just going to, oh, I don't like this one. Oh, and you see it right now.
Oh yeah, you see
and
it.
You see it all the time. They're like, oh, I called them, I left them a message. I'll email them later, and they don't have that drive. And then I see like, okay, at that time we were small enough where I was like, look, you're like, well, who does our transactions? Like, well, I'll do your transactions. So I was the transaction coordinator. We got busy enough. I'm like, okay, now we're going to hire a transaction coordinator.
Yeah.
I kind of took everything that I was taught at Keller Williams and I did it backwards because they always said, like, the first thing you need to do is hire an assistant. I was like, no, the first thing you need to do is get deals.
Yeah.
Like, hiring an assistant does you no good if you don't have any deals.
Lead with revenue.
Yeah, lead with revenue. I'm like, I got that from Keller Williams, so I'm like, I'm going to lead. I'll take that and run with it, but don't tell me to go hire an assistant that's going to be paid out of my pocket versus paid out of transactions. And so as the transactions came in, we hired a transaction coordinator, and that was a godsend, especially for me because I was the one who was doing the paperwork.
Yeah.
And so it freed up my time to actually go and sell more homes. But it was perfect because now income was coming in from the team side. I was able to go out and sell more homes because I wasn't doing paperwork for the team or for myself anymore. So that was obviously a big eye-opener, saying, okay, that was a good leap of faith on that piece. And then we started looking at other lead programs because the lead source, like when you first came on, started to dry up a little bit. I don't know if it got oversaturated, if it just, the market changes. I mean, that anybody who's in real estate knows what works today may not work tomorrow. And sometimes you have to go to an old playbook. Sometimes you got to create a new playbook. But it allowed us to, explore different lead sources. And now it's just part of what we do is just, exploring these different lead sources and, making sure that we have some sort of something coming in and then building the systems behind it. Now that's the next step that we're working on is saying, how do we leverage these technologies to help the system tell us, hey, this person rose their hand versus me having to study. Now we got like 50,000 people in our database, which is an insane database. I don't have the time. Between the two of us, we don't have the time to. But computer software can. It can scan it and say that's the guy you need to call today.
Yep.
So that's where we've kind of come around.